It wasn't a scream that led to the discovery. It wasn't the sight of blood. It was the silence. On April 4th, 1922, near the small village of Gruber in Bavaria, neighbors grew worried about a remote farmstead known as Hinterkaifeck. For days, no one had been seen. No smoke from the chimney, no voices, no children on their way to school. When several men entered the farm, they had no idea they were about to step into one of the most baffling and disturbing crimes in German history. The Hinterkaifeck farm was isolated, far from any road, surrounded by open fields. The forest began right behind the buildings. Whoever lived here lived in seclusion. The residents were Andreas Gruber, 63 years old, the patriarch, a stern, feared man, his wife Cäzilia, 72, quiet and frail, their daughter Viktoria Gabriel, 35, a widow and mother of 2, her children Cäzilia, 7 years old, and Josef, just 2, and the new maid Maria Baumgartner, 44. She had only been at the farm for a single day. All 6 of them were dead. But the murder didn't begin that night. The signs had been there for weeks. In the days leading up to the crime, Andreas Gruber told neighbors about strange occurrences. He'd seen footprints in the fresh snow. They led from the forest directly to the farmhouse, but there were no tracks leading back. Gruber searched the property but found no one. A short time later, he heard footsteps in the attic. Slow, steady footsteps. Again, he searched, and again he found nothing. Then a set of house keys vanished. One day a newspaper appeared in the house that no one had subscribed to. The previous maid had fled the farm months earlier. She spoke of a heavy, oppressive atmosphere, of fear, of the constant feeling of being watched. On March 31st, 1922, the new maid Maria Baumgartner arrived. She didn't know these stories. That very same night she was killed. What exactly happened that night has never been fully reconstructed. But the evidence at the scene told a grim story. One by one, the family members were lured into the barn. First the elder Cäzilia Gruber, then her daughter Viktoria, then little 7-year-old Cäzilia, finally Andreas Gruber himself. All of them were struck down with a mattock, a type of pickaxe. The blows were precise, delivered with enormous force. Their bodies were found piled on top of each other, covered with hay. Inside the main house, investigators later found the bodies of 2-year-old Josef and the new maid, Maria Baumgartner. They too had been brutally killed in their beds. But the most unsettling discovery was yet to come. The killer had stayed. The livestock in the stable had been cared for. The cows were milked, the animals fed. There were fresh ashes in the stove. In the kitchen there were signs of recently cooked meals. The killer, or killers, had lived on the farm for several days after the murders. Surrounded by the bodies of their victims, the family's money was left untouched. Neighbors later testified they had seen smoke rising from the chimney and light in the windows at a time when all the residents were already dead. The deeper the investigators dug, the darker the family's secrets became. Andreas Gruber was not a simple farmer. Court records confirmed he had an incestuous relationship with his daughter Viktoria. Both had been convicted for it years earlier. Neighbors whispered of violence, of screams, of a home filled with fear. In 1920, Viktoria gave birth to her son Josef. To this day, his true father remains unknown, and this question of paternity would become a central point in the investigation. One name came up again and again: Lorenz Schlittenbauer, a neighbor, a farmer, and Viktoria's former lover. He was one of the first people at the crime scene. Witnesses later said he moved through the house with an unnerving confidence, opening doors as if he knew what to expect. He touched the bodies, examining them before the police arrived. Schlittenbauer claimed he believed his own child might be among the victims, referring to little Josef. He had several possible motives: the unresolved paternity, a financial dispute with the family, and a conflict over the planned sale of the farm. But there was never enough evidence to charge him, and yet his name has been linked to the case for a century. But the most disturbing theory emerges from the small, strange details: the footprints from the woods, the sounds from the attic, the foreign newspaper. What if someone was already living on the farm, hidden long before the murders? What if someone had been watching the family, learning their routines, slowly taking over their space. If that's true, then Hinterkaifeck wasn't just a crime scene. It was a place that was slowly, methodically infiltrated. And this leads to the one question that haunts the case to this day. Why did the killer stay? A robber would have fled with the loot. A killer acting in a fit of rage would have run. But this person remained. They lit the fire, they cooked meals, they fed the animals, they lived. As one investigator later wrote, there was no need to stay, and yet somebody did. Perhaps it was about control, perhaps it was out of a twisted sense of habit, or perhaps it was because in their mind the farm already belonged to them. The investigation was flawed from the start. The autopsies were conducted under poor conditions. The skulls of the victims were sent to Munich for further examination by clairvoyants, but were lost during the chaos of World War II. Years later, the farm was torn down. Today, only a small memorial stone marks the spot where the House of Horrors once stood. The case was eventually closed, not solved, never solved. And that's what makes it so deeply unsettling. Hinterkaifeck isn't a mystery because we know too little. It's a mystery because we know so much, and none of it adds up to an answer. It's the chilling knowledge that after everyone was gone, someone was still there, alone, in the house of the dead. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, consider subscribing for more deep dives into historical mysteries.